Okay, dear Dhamma friends, so we have come to the second question and answer session. So we have received some written questions, so I invite to present with the written questions.
Most Venerable Sir, we got 11 questions today. Out of that, 8 on mindful sitting and walking, 3 on Dhamma and general day to day.
Yes.
So I'll take the walking and sitting meditation questions first.
Yes.
Okay. Dear Most Venerable Bhante, in Anapanasati Bhavana, once the focus is on in-breath and out-breath, I have experienced the following. Mind wanders with different thoughts and I am trying to bring back to the primary objective. After some time can settle and the out-breath becomes longer. Thereafter the breath is shorter, almost not feeling it. Lights do come but transient. Body becomes lighter, don't feel at all except the movement in the diaphragm. Feel happy, sometimes pain in the foot. I am a beginner, so my questions are: 1. At this stage, what should be done? 2. When is the correct stage to change the primary objective? With metta.
Yeah, good. Actually, it seems that you are doing well. So basically, important thing is now as you are telling that the lights at the beginning might be coming and going, very much like transient. So at that time, no point of looking at it. You just continue with breathing or paying attention to your breathing. And later, say for example, as your concentration builds up, suppose light comes and then stabilizes without going out or without disappearing. It comes and stabilizes and very much like stays in front of your eyes. Say it merges with the breath. It's very much like now you are breathing into the light and the breathing coming from the light. Very much like it's mixed up, well merged. At that stage, automatically you are actually, when you are looking at the breath, when you are focusing the breath, automatically your attention is to the light as well. And at that time you can once this light is stabilized, at that time you can discard breathing, or rather discard the paying attention to breathing, and then softly gently look at the light. And don't look at any defects in the light, just look at the light in a very happy, comfortable way. And you just have to look at it, and in a very comfortable way you have to look at it. And as you look at it, certain kind of energy being built up, your say faculties are being drawn. When the kind of the balance happen, when the kind of equilibrium happens, you become kind of one with the light. You get merged with the light. You somewhat absorb to the light, and you just have to be there. So it's a kind of a nice experience, and you can proceed like that. Yeah. What's the second question? Only one. Okay. Sorry, yeah. Sorry. Oh, did I answer both?
At this stage, what should be done?
Yeah.
Second, when is the correct stage to change the primary objective?
Yeah, I think I understood both. Yes.
This also has 2 parts, one on walking meditation, one on sitting. Do I read both at once, or?
We proceed and see.
Okay.
Yes.
Venerable Swamin Wahansa, I have been practicing meditation now for few years. 1. Walking meditation. Usual sensations that I did feel earlier have become less prominent now. I experience long durations of walking without any thoughts. I feel my walking is happening automatically for the most part. When I force myself to observe the details of the sensations on the soles as before, I feel my mind gets irritated. Number 2, in sitting meditation, my breath...
One moment. So may I know whose question is this? Yes? Okay. So are you now doing daily practice? Right. So how long, like say 1 hour morning, 1 hour in the evening, something like that, or even more than that? More than that, yes. So now could you get the mic for a moment? So basically say while in the sitting, what are the experiences?
That was my next
Yeah,
question.
okay, you can read.
In sitting meditation, my breath now disappears within a few minutes.
Right.
As instructed by you prior, Bhante, I then continue to be mindful. Any thoughts that arise vanishes immediately if I am mindful of them. But there are periods that I have been entangled with thoughts as well.
Right.
I am not sure whether I had failed to be mindful during these episodes or not.
Right.
Even during regular day-to-day activities, my thoughts tend to dissolve when I am mindful of them.
Right. So basically what I want to know is that what is exactly you are doing while sitting? Are you on the Anapanasati, or are you observing sensations, or what is your...
I started initially with the Anapanasati, and then the sensations of the breath had disappeared.
Right.
And I talked to you some time back,
Yeah,
and
I can remember.
at that time you instructed just to be with my experience.
All right, right. I can remember. So as far as I can remember, did I instruct you to, without getting any kind of object, just to maintain the mind in a sort of a what we discussed on yesterday, like kind of an independent state, without getting to any object available? So this is the advice I told you?
This is the last advice you gave.
Yeah. Okay. So in the walking also the same thing you have to do. So at this stage, if you are trying to push your attention back to the object, then it becomes irritating. Then it has become strenuous or somewhat troublesome, because now mind likes to be free from objects, because it has its own independence. It doesn't want to associate any object, rather it likes to be free, it likes to rest, it likes to have its own seclusion, and it's just a pure awareness is there. So at that time we don't need to push ourselves to, even for the sensations while you are walking, they may be available. I mean, you may see certain things, you can hear things, and you may feel the touching and everything, but don't push the mind to look at anything. So just allow the mind to stay quietly and see what it does, what it likes to do. Probably you might go to a memory, might go to a future kind of an incident or whatever thing. So at that time also you are entirely doing Chittanupassana. Right now you are not in the Kayanupassana level, rather body is simply walking for the sake of walking, but you are not paying attention to that, rather you are paying more attention to the mind. So and again the mind you are not holding strongly, or sort of some kind of without allowing it to move. Typically in the beginning, say when mind constantly wandering, we are strongly holding it, but now we are not doing it, rather we allow it to wander. We allow it to go wherever it likes. Probably it might not go anywhere. So that's the beauty. So once mind has understood its own refuge, once it understood that the friction-free state is being independent, being unassociated with anything, it simply stay very quiet. So, but still we might not be able to maintain that for a long time because of the defilement power. So it may go out for something. So at that time, you look at where it has gone. So there are various techniques how to say again rescue the mind, somewhat like. Now say you are looking after a child, and child does not know, how to behave. And he may go to a fire, he may go to a river, he may go to another thing. So you are like a mother, you are simply looking at where it is doing. But you have to allow him to play as well. Now the mind is playing, so it is going to say some past incident. And you understand, I was experiencing fair amount of friction-free state, unstressed or without tension. So this new state is little tensed. When compared to this free, unassociated state, now this new state is little tensed. So you have to feel that tension. So basically you need to recognize that tension being created or being newly appeared. So once you recognize that, again you are not encouraging it, and you are coming back. So mind will automatically come back, because tension arises because of whatever kind of a defilement is there. When defilement is there in the mind, little tension is definitely available. So once you recognize that tension, so mind will return back. So there are different methods available. Actually, there's a very good sutta called Indriya Bhavana Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya. So there Buddha says particularly 3 methods he has mentioned for a, say, normal person. So he says, so once you shift to this kind of new experience, new object, some kind of a grasping, Buddha says, understand it is gross compared to the subtle, very soft state where the mind was. So you are comparing this. I was in a very soft, very gentle, very unassociated, no friction, no frustration, very peaceful. But now it is very gross. So you understand this gross nature. He used this term olarika, this olarikang, see, gross. That is one approach. Another approach is, once it is moved, you recognize this moved state is a created one, fabricated one, formulated one. Now this where you were is very much like unfabricated. It's just there. You just be. But new state, say you are unhappy, you are say worrying, maybe irritated, no, sort of lustful or whatever thing. So all these things are sort of made states, artificial states, so fabricated states. So you see this fabricated nature. It is called sankhata. See in the sankhatang, it is fabricated. So once you recognize that, so you are not appreciating it, you are not supporting it, then the mind will automatically come back. And another approach Buddha says, see it as a paticcasamuppanna. So when this state arises, so there are certain causes supporting it. So say you have certain influxes being now activated, or certain, say for example, while you are looking at certain sight being seen, and that might be the immediate cause. So likewise there are immediate causes and the certain roots in the mind. So those are the causes for this new state to appear. So you can see even these causes. So these 3 approaches are very beautiful. So you can use any of these. And in another simple way, you can simply see, so if you are in this new state, you can simply step back and see it is arising and it is changing and it is passing away. Even that also can be taken. That is the approach Buddha has taken in the Chittanupassana and in Dhammanupassana. You simply look at how they are arising and changing and then passing away. Simply you are step back and you watching it. So once you do that, you are not sort of strengthening it. You are not promoting it. So since you are not promoting it, since you are not strengthening it, it will lose its power and it will come back. Or it will simply dissolve, and you will return to this kind of peaceful state. So that is the approach you have to even do while walking. So don't now put your attention to the sensations available. Yeah. So yes. Yeah. Yes. Do the same thing. Even at the day-to-day situations, as she also said. So basically you have to keep the mind as much as possible very peaceful. So once you are touching this unassociated kind of state of mind, so as much as possible you have to use that, because that is the very much like the original nature of the mind, right? It doesn't need to associate any kind of this transient state of mind. So all these transient states are created ones, all are due to certain causes they are created, but as much as possible you are maintaining this unassociated, friction-free, tension-free state. But you can understand, but I mean, due to defilement power, definitely it may jump to this and that. So your responsibility is to always watch the mind when it jumps, when it gets attached. So you have to save it. So you have to rescue that. So it will come back. So that is where, I mean, so typically you understand this kind of refuge you have, the undefiled state of mind you have, and then when it is going to the entanglement, you have to use wisdom to again disentangle. So you are using the what you call the Cheto Vimutti and Panya Vimutti. So now where you are in a kind of a Cheto Vimutti situation where you have a kind of a freedom of the mind, but you can't maintain that because of the defilements we have. So then it is again and again entangling, and at that time you are using the wisdom, so the Panya Vimutti part, so you are using the wisdom to again rescue yourself, rescue the mind basically. So this go hand in hand. So this, I mean, this has to be the very much the complete kind of practice throughout the day. So you are every time whatever you do, you are engaging with others, talking with others, doing certain works, whatever the way. So you have to have a separate watching nature to your mind. So you are maybe talking, now say I am talking, so I have to watch the mind whether I am getting some kind of a defilement in this discussion. So I have to watch myself. So that kind of a ongoing watching nature has to be built up. And other than that, so suppose your say mind does not go to anything, it likes to stay, and don't do anything at that time. Don't willfully do anything at that time. Say you are simply being quietly sitting, and mind also not wandering, and it likes to stay quietly, it likes to stay very silent, it likes to stay without associating anything. So at that time, don't try to do anything, just be. right. Thero and Vanaya. Yeah. Right.
This question also, this yogi also has written 2 parts, sitting meditation and walking meditation. Sitting meditation. First, I tried to understand the full breathing cycle. However, I could find it is only prominent in inner part of the nose, throat. When I focus on that feeling, my back ribs began to pain. When I tried to focus on that pain, it disappears. And sitting was very boring for me. I wanted to change my posture and to quit meditation. So I couldn't concentrate more than 10 to 15 minutes. Next time, when I concentrated on the breath, my mind was creating strange lights and objects of blue, black, and yellow. When I began to watch those, I could forget the pain and boredom. However, still some distractions came which were not significant. I need to know whether this is my fake mind and some advice from Swamin Wahanse.
Yeah, actually you have to encourage boredom. So all these are coming and going. Is now the closer to the 31st night. All the firecrackers and everything is available. So all are very transient, only for one day, something like that. So, but this boredom, what you are experiencing, it will last. It is the kind of the nature where you are experiencing some kind of peace. So there are no defilements, mind is not agitated, and you feel some kind of a, see this boredom as kind of a peace. So you feel bored because there are no activity happening. There are no any defilements to bug you. There are no anything to say agitate you. So you feel bored. But while you are being there like that, say simply concentrating on the breath, and it is also like disappearing, become very subtle, and you might even fall asleep. So if you are able to maintain kind of continuous mindfulness even in this very refined or very subtle breath, so then these lights come and go. So don't look at them right now. So let them play as they like. And as I said at the very previous question, so if there's a when your concentration matures, then a light, if it is necessary to, if this is the approach taken, if this is the way the conditions are happening, then there's a possibility there's a light coming and stabilize. So at that, till that, you don't need to look at the lights, and you simply be with the breath and simply be with yourself. Yes. Yeah.
Walking meditation. First, it was very hard to concentrate. Lots of thoughts flowing continuously. However, I could manage it to left and right after several sessions. Now I concentrate on the feeling it makes on feet. When the feet touch the sand, I also try to understand the movement of the leg and details of keeping a step. Question 1. I get a shoulder pain when I continue it for 15 minutes or more. Question 2. To which part of walking meditation I should focus on? Movement of the leg or feeling on feet?
Yeah, I think it is easy at the beginning to maintain the feeling, so which is that it's a kind of a direct feeling, direct experience. But movement might be little difficult for a beginner, but later when you have well established mindfulness on the feeling, say for example your left foot is touching the ground, so you feel, so it's a direct experience. So you are very sure, and like that you are constantly, applying the mind. You are now in that experience, and you are able to maintain that unbroken mindfulness. At that time, suppose you are now discarding labeling, and your mind is now fairly quiet, and you can continuously maintain the mindfulness. At that time, you can even watch this movement, sight movements, and different details are available, different other characteristics are available. So as a second phase, you can pay your attention to movement. Yes.
Theruvan Saranai. Most Venerable Sir, I have been trying meditation for a long time, but the time I can sit still is limited because of bodily sensations. I practice Anapanasati but can control the thoughts to a certain extent, but when the sensations start, my concentration breaks, and most of the time I stop. Is there anything I can overcome this? May the Triple Gem bless you.
So I think if the sensations are happening, available, so actually you can make use of them rather than finding them like looking at them in a different angle or thinking they are kind of a disturbance. So once Anapanasati, the breathing meditation develops, when fair amount of concentration is available, at that time the sensations of the body is also coming. So find it as a blessing, because now you have a fair amount of field available for vipassana practice. Because if you don't have these things available and those are not becoming prominent, then you have to wait for them to appear. But now the things are available for you, resources are available for vipassana practice. So at the early stage, develop your develop concentration, your Anapanasati, say about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Suppose your concentration now becomes stable and you can maintain that at the nostril, and at the same time, suppose the sensations are also ready, available, and then among those sensations, find out whatever prominent sensation and locate your mind there. So don't stay at the breath now. So go to a very prominent sensation and now be with that. Simply observe that, and there are the resources available for better vipassana. So find it as a blessing. A lot of resources are available. Field is ready for you to play now. Yes. Yeah.
Swamin Vahansa. I am practicing Anapanasati, rising, falling, over 2 to 3 years. I am switching Anapanasati, rising, falling, to Vipassana. Example, start paying attention to the places in the body where pains arise, disappears. At the stage when my breath is almost disappears. Is this correct? At this stage when my breath is almost disappears. Is this correct? Kindly advise. ඔබ වහන්සේට චතුරාර්ය සත්‍ය ඉක්මනින් අවබෝධ වේවා.
So actually breath can disappear. So at that time, as I said to the previous yogi, so when breath disappear, that indicates that you are at the very much the end of the Kayanupassana level. Say for example, if you can remember the steps in Anapanasati, so first Buddha explains, okay, you see the differences. It might be longer, it might be shorter. So this is one stage. Another stage, you see the complete breath. Sabbakaya Patisangvedis. You see the complete breath. And as you paying attention to that, then the breathing becomes very subtle. And then the kind of becoming settling happens. Pasambhayam kaya sankharam. So the breathing now becomes very almost like disappeared. And you have to simply maintain that state. Assume at that time you can feel rising and falling. You can feel various other sensations. Among these sensations, including rising and falling, select whatever the prominent sensation. So then you don't have any preference. You don't need to have any preference. Whatever the sensations available throughout the body is available for you, you can simply use the already built up concentration to watch that. So then you are in the vipassana side. You are simply watching, see how things are happening. Now, in this area, so you need very much a present moment kind of a phenomena. Say it is occurring at the present moment. It is not something mind created. Rather, these are physically available at this very moment. So you are using available concentration to watch these present moment phenomena They may be arising, they may be changing, they may be disappearing, passing away, another thing arising. So it's a very good things going on. So you simply use already build up concentration to watch them.
Bhante, I think it's the same person.
Yeah.
There is another question, same handwriting, asking the same thing what you explained really.
Right.
Swamin Wahansa, please kindly explain how do we practice Sabbakaya Patisangvedi stage 2 in Anapanasati meditation as mentioned in Satipatthana Sutta.
Yes, so in Sabbakaya Patisangvedi means that actually there are certain different interpretations, but typically when we consider Anapanasati, Sabbakaya Patisangvedi means now say you are keeping your attention on the breath and your concentration is developing, and you can understand the differences between in-breath and out-breath. In-breath difference, in-breath versus out-breath. So you find certain differences are there in the in-breath and in the out-breath. Say for example, in-breath is cooler, out-breath is warmer. That is just one example. So likewise there are differences between in-breath and out-breath. And suppose you are continuing your practice and your mindfulness become further refined, at that time you can even understand two consecutive in-breaths are not very similar. Two consecutive out-breaths are not very similar. Even to that level you can understand there are certain differences. That is where Buddha says, Digang vasa santo digang asasamiti pajanati, or rasang vasa santo rasang asasamiti pajanati. When compared to the previous in-breath, the in-breath now, right now what you are experiencing appears like longer. Or when compared to the previous in-breath, right now just finished in-breath appears like shorter. So likewise you can find out these subtle differences in between consecutive in-breaths or consecutive out-breaths. So you have to pass these stages. At that times, now if you are able to recognize these things, now you need to understand in the breath. So typically we experience the middle half or middle part, which is more gross or rather with some high intensity. But it is not the way that is starting. It begins with a very subtle, very smaller way, very gentle way, very soft way. So it is beginning. Very softly it is beginning, and then it is increasing, intensity increases, and then intensity decreases, and it completely disappears. So the beginning, the middle, and the end. So you have to look at how this in-breath begins, and how it is developing, and how it is now reducing, and how it is disappearing. And then there may be a little gap, even you might be able to trace, and then how the out-breath begins, then how it is increasing and how it is disappearing. Then there may be a little gap before the next in-breath happens. So this is the complete cycle you have to look at. So this is what Buddha calls as the Sabbakaya Patisangvedi, where the complete cycle of breathing is now you are experiencing. It does not again mean that you are following the breath to the lungs and coming back out. You are always keeping your attention at the nostril. Simply you are staying at the nostril, but you are watching the complete cycle, beginning, middle, and the end. So this is what we call as the Sabbakaya Patisangvedi. Yeah.
Dear Bhante, I am a yogi who prefers walking meditation. The methods followed by me during walking meditation is: first I note the feet movements as lifting, moving and placing for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then note the sensation of the left and right soles touching the ground as beginning, middle and end. Finally, the combination of both above methods. Please advise whether the process followed by me is in order. Theruvan Sarana.
Can you repeat?
I am a yogi who prefers walking meditation. The methods followed by me during walking meditation is: first I note the feet movements as lifting, moving and placing for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then note the sensation of the left and right soles touching the ground as beginning, middle and end.
I think no problem. I mean, if your mind without wandering, if it is very like to do that and no thoughts happening, but you are well engaged in this process, doesn't matter. So typically if you are in the very first stage, say rising, moving and shifting, or rather placing, at that time if your mind is not wandering, and in the second stage if the mind starts to wander, then this is not suitable. But suppose the first stage is well refined and you are establishing mindfulness, and in the second stage now you are even go further to some deeper levels, then it's much better. Typically, so we are engaged in this kind of a little complicated process if the mind is wandering. Otherwise you keep the practice very simple. Say left, right, it's a very simple thing. But later you even forget about left, right and simply be with the sensation. So it's a very quiet mind without making any kind of tension in the mind. And the mind is very quiet, and simply you are being with the 100% with the experience. Wholeheartedly you are experiencing. And no thoughts, no thinking happens, but you are experiencing how the soles are touching, how it may be lifting, how you maybe feel sort of weight of the foot and the moving and then the placing. All these are different attributes of walking, and you are completely in this walking process. So if this you can do with a very quiet mind, then you are successful. Yeah. You can actually employ different subtle differences or subtle techniques to refine this, but ultimately the ultimate outcome has to be a very quiet mind observing the complete process.
During this retreat, I have been having difficulty staying awake during sit-in meditation. What should I do when I start nodding off?
You can sit on the sun where some sweat happens. Because if you are used to very busy life with so much activities, and if you come to a retreat and start to simply look at your breath, you fall asleep. That's very natural, because our mind is very much agitated, and that is what keep it awake. But in a retreat environment, there is nothing to watch. I mean, simply very boring experience of this in-breath and out-breath. So you easily fall asleep, very natural. But how can you maintain awakefulness even with this very boring object? So that is the challenge. So that is where you need mindfulness. That is where you need effort. That is where you need practice. Because you fall asleep, how can you? Because remember, say when you feel really angry, can you fall asleep? You can't. If your mind is really lustful, you can't fall asleep, because these are the defilements make you awake. So, but when you are watching a very boring object, it is never agitating your mind. Simply keeping it very quiet. It is very peaceful, but you can't maintain that awake. So that is the challenge. So how can I even be awake with this very subtle, monotonous kind of object? So that is slowly you are improving the sensitivity of the mind. Yeah.
A general question. As I understand, one of the objectives of Buddhism is to get rid of attachments, because everything is made of the 4 elements: earth, air, fire and water. However, I am confused on how you can get rid of attachment to more abstract ideas such as trust, respect, dignity, etc.
Actually, you don't need to. It is not that we are trying to forcefully keep aside everything in the mind. So when mind goes and attaches, then only you have to understand, now mind is grasping, now mind is attaching. At that time you have to rescue the mind, or at that time you have to apply whatever the techniques, and then allow mind to come back to tension free state. Without, say, even as you said, say there's a kind of a mental standpoint. Say you are taking, okay, this happens like this. Say then someone else is sort of objecting, no, it is not like that. Now you are holding your view, no, it is like this. Now suppose how the tension builds up between you two. Kind of a little argument is now building up. So you have your own viewpoint, another one is challenging that, and you want to sort of protect your view, you want to win your view. So at that time there's a little tension building up. So is this kind of a easy state of mind, or is it kind of a tension free state of mind? Is it a peaceful state of mind, or is it a tense state of mind? So at that time you can understand it's a tense state of mind. Even it may be truth, you may be telling the truth, the other one might be telling the wrong thing. But if you are creating kind of a tension even with the truth, then we have gone wrong. So that is why there's a very beautifully Buddha says in the Kaccanugata Sutta, Buddha says that typically our minds are either, I think even on last time I mentioned this. So suppose this is an object, so either we are inside the object, or we are holding the object, or we are closer to the object, or we are a little distant to the object, or sometimes we have some kind of a viewpoint about the object. Any of these ways we are some way attached to this object. So at this time we are not free from this object. But suppose you are simply keeping the object there, but your mind is free. When I want to use the spectacles, I am using it. So nothing to worry. Something like that. So different viewpoints are there. Say different theories are available, facts are available, and say dignity and whatever the things that you have mentioned, these things are available, and you are using them at the right time. You are not getting them sort of, you are not identifying with them, you are not getting bothered by them. So I think we can, say for example certain conventions are there. Say you have to wear white clothes here. It's a kind of a convention that we all have here. So we simply adhere to that. We are not making any kind of fuss about it. Something like that. So when you are, so suppose you are objecting that, no, why should I come with this clothes? I want to wear in this way. So then you are going in a different way. Now you are suffering. So if you simply be with the norm, and you simply flow with the norm, and if the norm is no problem, then no problem. You can continue. So nothing to worry. I mean, you don't need to struggle every time. You can simply be with the situation, and without making any kind of friction out of it. Yeah. Yes. Process. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Uh-huh. Yes. 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 Tension, because the letting go has to happen at the right time. Say you are climbing on a ladder, and before you catch the next pole, the upper pole, suppose you want to let go it, then you will be on the ground. So similar process. So natural and gradual process, of course. So basically when the mind is ready to let go, then the letting go may happen easily, without any breakage of the head. So, but if you are taking it, letting go as a hard rule, then it will be difficult. Then you are holding letting go as a grasping. You are grasping letting go. It is not the way. I mean, there are beautifully sometimes certain teachers explain, you simply let things be, not let things go. You simply let things be, and you are being patient with them. Suppose it's a kind of irritation happen in the mind, and you are not supporting it, and you recognize it and let it be. And now really understand, if you can understand what is really now going on. Suppose a friction available, kind of tension available, irritation available. Now you disengage from that, and now you simply watching at it, and you let it be. Now at that moment you are no more supporting it, no more strengthening it. Now it simply go away. Now the letting go naturally happens. So you don't need to forcefully let go, you don't need to drop it. You simply be with it, but recognize it, but not supporting it, not identifying with it, and then it will slowly go away. So therefore the letting go has to be a kind of a natural process rather than kind of a forceful process. Yes.
What is the link between meditation and the attainment of Nibbana? In other words, Venerable Sir, could you please explain how the practice of meditation could serve to meet the primary requirement of preventing rebirth to reach the desired goal of Nibbana?
Yeah. The thing is, the rebirth happens due to various causes. So Buddha, say for example, karma is one cause. Then the consciousness is another cause, and then the defilements are another cause. Kammang kettang viññānam bījaṃ tanhā sineho. So this is how Dhamma explained. So the kamma is like the field, the viññāna, the consciousness, is like the seed, and the tanha, that is the craving, and the avijja, the ignorance, are like the rain. So these are the kind of causes for ongoing process, ongoing this birth and death. So certain people try to overcome karma or completely completely uproot karma. So that is one approach taken. But Buddha has taken a different approach. He tried to address the defilement factor. So there are certain defilements causing this ongoing rebirth cycle. So what are those causes? Primarily ignorance and the craving. So he understood that ignorance and craving are the main culprits. So now he is addressing each and everything. So there is a kind of suffering available, kind of tension available, and he recognized what is the cause of that. So we can recognize there may be a kind of a attachment to the ongoing process. There may be something I am asking. There may be something that I want to change. There may be something I am asking. So likewise there is a desiring factor, kind of a craving factor there. So you recognize that. And once you recognize that, you simply have to let go of that, and then you are back in the peace. So in the present moment level, in the momentary level, this is the practice one has to do. Suppose if one is continuing like this, applying these Four Noble Truths in a practical sense, then you are developing the path. Then you are developing the Noble Eightfold Path. So once you are developing Noble Eightfold Path, so it's very unlikely that the grasping remains. So when the grasping happens, tension is available. When the tension is available, you feel suffer, you feel uneasy, you feel uncomfortable. At that time, if your mindfulness is very sharp and you have experienced fair amount of unassociated, unattached, friction-free, tension-free state of mind, then you appreciate that state rather than being in a tense state. And then you are returning back to this tension-free state. So continuously you are practicing this tension-free state. That is also undefiled state. So slowly, defilements will be eradicated, defilements will be weakening. So as a result, mind might not grasp. Buddha says rebirth happens only when grasping is available. When there is no grasping, no rebirth. Bhava paccaya jati. Upadana paccaya bhava, bhava paccaya jati. So if there is no grasping, there is no bhava. Bhava means kind of a becoming process. Suppose you are very beautifully, you are very comfortably in a contented situation, and there is no desire to become someone else. You are very contented. Suppose immediately some kind of a desire arises and you want to eat something, you want to see something, you want to go for a picnic, you want to go for cinema. So likewise kind of a inner craving builds up. Now you want to implement it. Now it is going to craving. Now it is going to grasping. Now suppose you are watching a TV or movie or whatever thing. Now you are in that world, kind of a bhava situation. We are kind of a becoming situation. So this and now you are reborn in this new state. So similar pattern applies in our life as well, in the large scale, in this life and the next life also. So you can use the same analogy to experiences. What you are going through in this life, same thing happens this life as well as the other life. So anyway, in brief, so if there is no grasping And if there are no craving and ignorance available, there won't be any rebirth. So that is the Buddha's teaching, where he is addressing the defilements factor. There are causes, as I said, the consciousness, the karma and the defilements. So he is addressing the defilement factor, uprooting avijja, uprooting ignorance, uprooting the craving. Then one attains nibbana, because tanhakkayo nibbana, the uprooting of or complete eradication of craving is the nibbana. Yeah.
This is the last one. It has 2 questions. As a Buddhist, being a vegetarian is really necessary? She's asking a question.
That we are practicing. If you like, you can join. Not a must. So actually, it is, you don't need to take it as a hard rule, but it is a kind of a compassion you have for other living beings. So if you feel compassionate about others, and if you have enough other foods available, so why killing another person or another being for your own happiness or your own sustenance, if there are enough other nutritious food available? So that is the approach we have to take. But it does not mean that you are sort of using that approach to say look down another who is eating meat or whatever thing. Then you are building another conceit. No point. So rather, if you understand, okay, I can manage with all vegetables, and there are enough different dishes available, so you go for that. Yeah.
Number 2 is, how can you prevent yourself from killing mosquitoes? It is difficult to feel sympathy for them.
Yes, you buy a mosquito net. Simple as that. I found that the mosquito nets are now hanging on the trees also. So you go under that and simply keep it and slowly meditate. No mosquitoes. Actually, Kalalgoda has very large mosquitoes. Very large mosquitoes in Kalalgoda. Sometimes they help you to awake. When you are drowsy, they make you awake. So we finished all the written questions. So if you have any other question, feel free to ask. Yeah.
Thank you. Bhante,
Yeah.
we were discussing letting go.
Yeah.
This is just my observation. I think your formula you explained earlier would be very useful. Olarikan sankatam paticca samuppannam.
Yes.
When you look at things that way, it will be easy to let things go.
Yeah, actually that is the 3 approaches Buddha telling. So use either of them. So we can train ourselves to all these techniques. Say when some kind of grasping happens, you use this one technique, for example. So suppose now mind is grasped and you understand that. At that time you look at the situation. This situation is comparatively gross. So that is one approach. So you have to practice this approach for some time. Another approach, Buddha says, see the conditioned nature, how it is fabricated like. It's kind of an artificial state. So you recognize that. That's another approach, and you have to practice in that approach. Another approach is see the causes, the paticcasamuppanna, and that is another approach. So you are very mindfully, carefully, you are looking at the causes. So that is very subtle in a way. Actually, all these methods contributing fair amount of wisdom, because you are very carefully analyzing the situation, not through thinking very much, but recognizing, but understanding. So then fair amount of wisdom also develops. So actually these techniques necessary only when mind's grasping is fairly strong, because you need some technique to employ to rescue that. Suppose mind, there's not a big strong grasping happens, but now kind of some association, some little craving is available, some desire is there. So at that time probably you can simply see how it is arising, how it is little available, and it is disappearing. So it's a very simple technique. So that is why different techniques are available. Based on the situation you can apply. actually we can practice various techniques, but when things happen practically, mind might select whatever the way it likes. So we sometimes can't even control whatever the preferred way, we can utilize and employ that. So different techniques are available. And on the other hand, so in the same sutta, in the Indriya Bhavana Sutta, Buddha says for a Seka Puggala, for a trainee, Buddha says he doesn't even do all this processing. Rather, he is used to be in a very comfortable state of mind, unattached state of mind. But again, now mind goes and grasps something. So he don't appreciate it. He simply look at it in attiyati harayati jigucchati. So he feel ashamed of still it is going back. How filthy it is still going it is. So it's making kind of an inner shame out of it. And he feel unhappy about it. Attiyati harayati jigucchati. He feel disgusting about it. So this very feeling let the mind come back. So there's a kind of feeling he has. So this is what Buddha is explaining when a Seka Puggala is practicing. So because his mind, he himself has experienced fair amount of freedom in the mind, but due to the influxes, the asava, still mind goes and grasps. So he's not appreciating it. Rather, he likes to stay unattached. So he simply somewhat feels ashamed of what is going on, and then mind come back. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing would
yes.
be, Bhante, just to lay back.
Yes.
Sit back and observe at a situation.
Yes.
With amusement. That.
Amusement.
Yes, with amusement. Then of course you see how trivial and silly
yes.
things are.
Yeah, that's also true. Like, we are looking at the picture, the drama like someone else's. So you are looking at your own mind, but as a kind of a spectator. So it's a kind of a drama going on in the mind, movie going on in the mind. So you are not supporting it, but as she said, it's kind of amused. So you feel, you can even laugh to yourself. How tricky mind is.
Yeah. And with
yes.
some equanimity.
Sorry?
With some equanimity.
Equanimity, yes. Yeah, thank you, yeah. Yeah, anything else? Yeah, are there anyone else, or shall we wind up? Yes.
I also have a similar situation like she did, where when I was doing the walking meditation, I kind of got irritated and then stopped doing and tried the sitting meditation, and then as soon as I close my eyes, I get to this blissful state, and then few thoughts come, then I look at that and it'll go away. Then I try to see if there's any pain in my body, and then I look at that and it will also go away in few. It doesn't take long, so it will go away. And then I remembered you said to look at the light and be with the light. And I did that. I kind of got irritated with that too. I just wanted my mind to just not do anything and just wait, kind of thing, not to like forcefully do anything. So I didn't know what I should be doing at that time. I felt like I was trying to do something that my mind doesn't want to do at that point.
So actually, I think you both are in a different state. So she's in the Vipassana approach where, she has practiced a fair amount of time and observed the various phenomena, how they are behavior and all. So have you all also did that?
Yes.
Long time, for several years?
Not several years.
One day, 2 days?
Couple of years, I said.
Couple of years.
Yeah.
Right. So what was the kind of observation you did?
With the walking meditation.
Yeah, whatever the meditation.
So I can, while I do couple of them, my mind settles down, where I can concentrate the whole thing, where the feelings, where if that without any thoughts, and then after I walk for some time, then it's like settles down and doesn't think about anything, just being by itself. Then I'm like forcing it to.
No, yeah, definitely at that time you don't need to. At that time, suppose there is no thoughts there, and you are simply being with the experience, and you are simply observing how things are happening. So at that time, maintain a least effort. So don't push yourself, just the least effort. Only if mind distracts, bring it back. That's the only effort you need. Otherwise, let the mind involve in the process in an effortless way. It's simply watching the process going on, how things are appearing, how things are changing, different characteristics are available, different tastes are available, textures are available. So in the different experiences, and see all these things, be aware of everything without any tension, in a very effortless way. And in sitting, what you do?
The sitting also, like when I look at try to be with the light kind of thing, it kind of irritates.
In the sitting also the same approach, if you can do like what you do in the walking. Say, have you started with Anapanasati?
Yes.
Okay. So are you able to observe Anapanasati even now?
And right now, when I close my eyes, just the blissful
light is there. I see.
So I don't really.
Yeah. So then both sides are mixed. You have the light appearing, so that you can be with it, and sort of developing the concentration is available. On the other hand, the walking, you are being with various sensations, and you simply observe that. So no problem. You can go both together. So, but main thing is in walking. As much as possible, you see how things are arising and what are they are available. Say different things are available. Say for example, when your soles are touching, so the heat is available, the coolness is available, maybe grossness available, softness available, hardness available, different characteristics are available. So use your mind to recognize different such qualities, textures and all these things, information. So use that ability. So then you are building in that side. So with that build up mindfulness, suppose you come back to sitting and you keep your attention on breathing. There are also probably now immediately once you come to sitting, the light appears. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you experiencing this for a long time now?
Even last time I came,
you told that.
Yeah.
That means say several months.
Yeah.
Okay, now are you familiar with this light? Are you able to look at it?
Yeah.
So when you are looking at it, what has happened?
It's kind of irritates because I have
moving. Is it moving?
It's not moving. It's like I feel like I have to put force. Whereas I don't want to put force in.
Definitely you don't need to do there anything. The light is there, and you simply have to watch it. That's all. So you can't control. Basically, if you are trying to control going into it or expanding it or whatever thing, then it is not the correct way, not the correct approach. You simply very patiently have to look at it. So the patient is the main thing what you have to do. Simply say for example, this is what you see, and you simply have to patiently observe. Nothing happens. Next time also you simply nothing happens. So the patience, you have to develop patience.
I think when there's nothing happens, I try to force it to see what.
That's the thing. So that is the defilement. That is the defilement where you simply given a kind of exercise, you simply have to watch, because that is why difficult, because the breath comparatively has some ongoing activities there, process is there for you to get involved, to watch. But this is utterly boring. Because it is just there, you have to simply watch, nothing happens also. So probably you can probably you can little focus to the middle, not to the entire area, to the middle you can simply focus, but you have to with a very light mind you have to observe it, not in a tense mind, not asking anything. If you have kind of a burden, what is still not happening? No, it's still not happening. So like, if you are asking something, then nothing will happen. So you simply very carefully simply watch it. That's all you have to do. Very difficult. Not doing anything is very difficult. Yes. Nivandaki, yes. If you have patience, you get enlightened. The light helps you to get enlightened. By the way, while walking, so keep your attention more on the elements and see what things are happening. So that is where the wisdom aspects develop. But in the sitting, if you are simply watching this light, the wisdom aspect does not develop. You are simply developing the concentration. But on the other hand, rather than suppose you feel bored looking at this, at that time, are there sensations available in the body? Yeah. So then you can forget about this light. Simply say you be with little breath for some few minutes, and then see what is available on your body, whatever the sensations, and keep your attention on whatever the prominent sensation and watch that, because that may be contributing a lot for your wisdom part. So, and when you are observing that, concentration also builds up in a different angle. So therefore you are getting much more benefit in that process, because it may take fair amount of time to mature in this simply looking at the light, and it becomes sometimes maybe bright, and you have to find out how to balance the faculties and maintain very light mind, very quiet mind, and not asking anything, not desiring anything, but consistently mindful. So bit difficult. And consistently mindful. If you suppose you forget, then again you have to build up from the beginning. Lot of work is there. So then we'll wind up here. Thank you very much for active participation. Yeah.